alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? This is a message to the individuals part of the S-Pubs movement and their followers. And I wanted to just put a message to the followers first, and then I'll have a quick message to the leaders. Followers, guys, the Tabdi'i project, or the Takfiri project, or any of these projects, they rely on you. They rely upon your admiration, your validation. So what I was going to say is that, guys, on a serious level, on a serious level, this is not good for them and it's not good for you. And you know that they're not infallibles, because we've shown you throughout the 2 months of this campaign that they can't speak Arabic, they can't read the Quran, they're disfluent in the instrumental knowledge that is required in order to make jurisprudential conclusions directly from the text, otherwise known as ijtihad, which is also required in order for someone to make tabdi'a, by the way, declaring someone an innovator. In short, these people are not qualified to do the work that they claim they can do. They lower the bar, the academic bar, by conning you into thinking that because they have received quote-unquote praise from their sheikh, that now gives them some kind of authority. When in reality, you wouldn't do such a thing with a doctor. You wouldn't go to a hospital, have a surgical operation, and the person who's conducting this surgical operation has not undergone the correct methods of, or the correct kinds of educational program, or has the right experience. You would definitely not allow that for yourself, and you definitely not allow that for your family. But the tajrih, the tajrih that your figureheads are doing, the cutting up of people's flesh in a spiritual manner, you've allowed them to do that without training, and that's your fault. That's your fault that you've entrusted them for that, because they're not Ahl al-Ilm, they're not Ahl al-Dhikr or any of this stuff, and you know it. We've proved that with all due respect, and it's gone unchallenged. The fact that Abu Ayyad doesn't know the difference between akhar and akhir, and he's disfluent, and I mean, if you were just a da'iyah, I wouldn't even bring this up. But you're someone who claims to make ijtihad, with all due respect, claims to be, and if you don't think tabdi' and takfir are masail ijtihadiyya, then you are grossly mistaken. So the beef that we have with these tabdi'i movements is that they create serious division, unnecessary division in the ummah, based on misdiagnosis and wrong prescriptions, and in this case, wrong tabdi'as. We say to them, and we say to you first of all, the level of admiration and validation that you've given that's fed into their narcissistic supply has done nothing but make them feel infallible and make them have ta'ajjub nafsi, a level of self-amazement that cannot be remedied, actually, unless something comes from the outside, meaning something happens, a life situation. This is usually that changes their perspective altogether. I think the 2 months of campaign has changed them. How do I know that? I'm not a psychoanalyst here, but I think that is the case, because when you see someone like Abu Ayyad, who's never come on the screen or made a video publicly, make a video scrambling on his channel, talking about the dates when he made this lecture, where he made the slip up about Sulaiman, and subsequently mentioned a hadith which was min al-Isra'iliyat and did not clarify that it's min al-Isra'iliyat, then I say that is us achieving our objective. With all due respect, we made you defend yourself. And I'm not saying this, wallahi, we do that as a rahmah, because Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah should be known for 2 things, as Ibn Taymiyyah said: that they're upon the truth, and that they're people of rahmah. Now, wallahi, you might not believe me, but sometimes, yes, it's not the case, but the initial intention I have with these brothers of the Tabdi'i project is for them to humble themselves for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that we can all have the knowledge, so we can all have the truth available to us, and so that the ummah is not unnecessarily divided. And I do that out of love for them, actually. I love for them to come to guidance. I'd love for them to come to truth. I'd love for you guys as the followers to come to guidance and to truth, and to keep away from these extreme or fringe opinions about the deen of Islam. And I want to finish off by saying something very important, that when it comes to what is the manhaj of the Quran and Sunnah in dealing with allegations, the Prophet Muhammad said in the hadith, if people's allegations were taken for granted, then لادعى يعني أموال دماء الناس وأموالهم أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. Something like, then people's blood and people's money would be alleged, and then people's money and people's blood would be taken as a result of that. He says, and this is, and subhanAllah, look at the principle here, the jurisprudential principle, which is actually a logical principle. It's beautiful. Internalize this. ولكن البينة على المدعي واليمين على من أنكر. This is beautiful. ولكن, however, the burden of proof is upon the one who's making the claim, and an oath is to be taken for the one who's negating that claim. This is a principle. That's why I said to Abu Ayyad, I put it on Twitter, about the dates that he was squabbling to try and find. In 2000, he first said, I think he said 2011, then 2010, or whatever. I said, if you say it's 2010 and say, Wallahi, may the curse of Allah be upon me if I'm lying, but even if you just say Wallahi, yeah, then khalas, bismillah, I'm going to retract the point, the 2010 point. That's not an issue for me. The issue is not this. The issue is that you can't take it upon yourself, brother, yeah? And this is my message to him directly and to all of his friends. You cannot take it upon yourself to admit when you are wrong. You cannot take it upon yourself, and this is a serious sign of kibr. And with all due respect, I'm not saying I'm alleviated from these tendencies and all these things. The Prophet ﷺ, and this is maw'idah li nafsi, this is I'm reminding myself here. He said, لا يدخل الجنة ما كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من الكبر. That if you don't go into Jannah, wa'id, whoever has a mithqala dharra, yeah, an atom's weight of kibr in his heart. Me and you, brother, we have to think about that, because we don't want kibr. We don't want our feud to allow us to go to hellfire, because we start to think in grandiose terms of ourselves with ta'ajjub nafsi and self-amazement, and to try and feed our narcissistic supply and validation, admiration, all of these things, and that's all we care about, and we're intoxicated with that. That I have that potential, and you have that potential that can happen to us. Don't let this whole facade of cult and this and that be the thing that sends you to the hellfire. With all due respect, just admit when you make a mistake. It disarms everybody. With all due respect, it's a great way of disarming someone. Say, look, yeah, I shouldn't have mentioned that Israeliyat hadith as if fi maqam hadith, as if and not clarified to the people this is not from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I shouldn't have been so dogmatic about the geocentric position, you know, and said that if you don't believe the sun goes around the earth, then you're committing kufr. I shouldn't have said that all kinds of kalam, or the language of the philosophers, etc., is haram, like mumkin al-wujud and wajib al-wujud. When you let your mascots and your cheerleaders use the same language, and don't reprimand them. Be just. Be just. If it's one standard, it's one standard for everybody. Yes? So yes, be just to the people. These are academic points which have become unrefutable now. And the fact that you haven't even answered them, to me, shows very clearly that you don't have a response for them. And it shows everybody that you don't have a response for them. These are the points. Let me repeat them. The Israeliyat hadith, the geocentric dogmatism, and the fact that you're using you're saying using the language of the philosophers, like mumkin al-wujud and wajib al-wujud, is haram. But when your guys do it, you don't reprimand them, and you don't make it public, and don't write PDFs on them. If it's haram for him as well. Who did it? I don't think it's haram. I think he's right, actually. The brother he said it's not haram because there's some halal thing and haram one, and I agree with him. I don't actually oppose him on that. That's exactly what I've been saying all along. You can use halal philosophical arguments, and you can use haram ones. We agree. But now you coming over and saying that we forged the dates. A'udhu billah. And I say, wallahi, I didn't do that. Uqsum billah al-azim, I didn't do that. I got the dates as they were. 2005, I was 14 years old. I don't know how old I was. I wasn't there. I wasn't a shahid there. But what I'm saying is, uqsum billah, I didn't do it. Now you can continually attack me, even though I said, wallahi, I didn't. But then khalas, let's do mubahala on the issue. Like Ali Dawah said, if you really believe in it, then nabtahil. Because I know, yaqinan, I didn't do that. So let's do mubahala on this issue. Unless, and if we don't do mubahala, then khalas, you're a coward, with all due respect. Then you're all mouth, with all due respect. Come out and let's do mubahala. Come out face to face and let's do mubahala. This is from the sunnah. It's from the Quran, actually. In the Quran, mubahala is there. So if you're saying I forged the dates, not that I was given the dates and maybe the file was already on 2005, or there could have been any technological understanding reason for it to be on 2005. Even if you did the lecture in 2005, I forged the dates. This is the point. This is molten. This is the tuhma that you're making, that me or Ali Dawah. I can speak for myself, and Ali Dawah, I know all of them. But for me, yaqeenan, 100%, and for them, I'm 99.999%. Yeah, I will do mubahala with you on this issue. And if you think you're qualified to do tabdi'a on the people, if you think you or Abu Khadija, the ummi, yeah, and I'm not saying that because the Prophet ﷺ was an ummi, yes, but he's an ummi qira'atan wa kitaba, which is different. Qira'atan wa kitabatan. He is an ummi. He has no education. He has in the deen. He has no ability to make tabdi'a on individuals. If you think you and him, sorry, qira'atan wa kitabatan wa kalaman. وفهما as well. قراءة وكتابة وكلاما وفهما. Everything. This guy has got a rudimentary understanding of the language. This guy and you as well, Abu Ayyad. Yeah, the only one with decent command Arabic is Bilal Davis, and we haven't seen him converse in the Arabic language. We haven't seen that. So all of you guys who don't have ilm al-ala, you cannot make tabdi'a like Wasil al-Abbas said to you. You cannot do it. And if you think we can, let's do tahakum. We'll go to Fawzan. We'll go to Fawzan. Why you don't want to go to Fawzan? Let's do tahakum. Tahakum means he listens to this side, listens to that side, and comes to a conclusion. We have access to him. You have access to him. Why don't we go after lockdown? Why not? What's the problem? And why are you scared? Why don't you take that on board? You say, let's go to the scholars. The scholars. No, let's go to the scholars. Let's go. Come on. Bismillah. We respect him. You respect him. Let's go. So the point I'm making to you guys is that, and I want to end with this. I want to end with saying that this cult mentality, yeah, this cult mentality and this facade that you put on of the infallibles, the saved sect, has come crumbling down. It's come crumbling down. Khalas. Bismillah. It's finished. You're finished. With all due respect. But now what we have to do is we have to work on ourselves. We all have to repent to Allah that how much we were doing this whole back and forth for the sake of Allah, and how much we were doing it for our own nafs and ego. And I can't answer that all of it was. I will never say that all of what I was doing for the sake of Allah. I would be a liar, kadhab wa nashar. And if you say the same, I was doing everything for the sake of Allah, then okay, you can have that. You can have that claim if you want. But we all know that there is some grudge there. Allahu a'lam. Yeah. And I would say to you, bro, wallahi, let's work on that. Let's work on ourselves. Let's work on our nafs, because reputations blackens and darkens and hardens your heart. So let's have a muhasabat al-nafs session where you're thinking about all the things you've done that are wrong. Write them down and just make a PDF against yourself, bro. That would be beautiful. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.